as well. Are you excited to have that World Championships title?
Yeah, just to add what Gabby, to what Gabby was saying, it's definitely going to be exciting. I've run in Oregon at the Prefontaine Classic. I run some very fast times, so really looking forward to that. And of course, a new stadium, a new track, a new feeling. You know, it should be very good.
Yeah, I'm excited to this World Championship, even because it's in Oregon, and the only time I have been competing there, it was important 2016. So it reminds to that World Championship when I won the gold medal, and of course it's just 2 hours far from Portland. Yeah. So it's close from that city, and it's gonna be huge. And last year I was watching the competition there, and everybody was performing really well. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it should be a very great track, right?
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
In terms of selection, you have to be top 3, Gabby. It's sudden death at the US trials. What's the policy for Jamaica, Hansel? What do you have to do?
It's the same. This is the reason why after this meet, I'm just gonna go home and prepare myself as best as possible, because the trials, just like the US trial, it's going to be on fire. Everybody is coming for the top spot, so I have to make sure I'm at my best, you know, to make the top 3 for the World Championships.
What about you, Jean-Marc? Are you already picked?
Yeah, yeah. They can't left the captain at home. No, I'm joking. In Italy, we don't have this kind of trial, so they just select the team by the results. So they put the standard, and as much as athlete doing it, they take to the world.
Any more questions? Yes.
Yeah, Hansel, you spoke about trials and the strength of the event in Jamaica. Obviously, Omar McLeod's here this weekend. How do you feel about competing with him today and then the trials?
Well, that's my friend, teammate. You know, we always talk about trying to make, you know, a 1, 2, 3 at the World Championships. So I really hope that the other guys are, you know, are informed this year, and we can look forward to taking home all the medals to Jamaica.
Jim?
Each of you kind of over the past year kind of made the news outside of athletics. Marco, the NBA, Hansel, the volunteering, Tokyo, and Gabby, the White House. Could you explain kind of those experiences and what it feels like to be involved in the atmosphere outside of just competing on the track and the field as well?
Ladies first.
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
Your White House experience.
Yeah, the White House experience.
Oh, yeah, the White House was really fun. I mean, it was great to also not just be with the Summer Olympians, but also to be with the Winter Olympians as well, and getting to know them and to see kind of what their training's like and how they were feeling about the Olympics. But it was just really great to kind of be recognized and to have the opportunity to just be around other like-minded athletes, and yeah, it was really special.
Hansel, you should just explain the story of the taxi.
All right. I think most people in track and field should have an idea now. I almost missed the semifinals from being on the wrong bus. I thought it was the correct bus because it was at the bus stop for the athletics. But on the bus itself was a different sign, but I was too busy listening to the music, so I didn't realize. Ended up at one of these aquatic stadiums. I think where it was rowing, but luckily I left. I always try to leave like 3 or more hours before race time, so I had some time, but the time was dwindling down. Of course, I was able to get a taxi fare from one volunteer. She helped me to get to the stadium, and I had to run through the security. That was like part of the warm up, running from the taxi to the track. I had to even put on my bodysuit before. Normally I wait till I'm done with warm-up before I put on my bodysuit, you know, not to get it sweaty so quickly. But everything was different. The whole warm-up was different, but I was still pumped and ready to go, so you know, it was still good.
But you tracked down the volunteer afterwards?
Yeah. Of course, it's you know, showing gratitude, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to make the finals. So I'm really thankful for that. I think it touched a lot of people. I think a lot of people, you know, see how, you know, there are good people around, and show a lot of gratitude.
Yeah. Tell us how you smashed the NBA.
That's what I mean when I was telling that Scaramanti thinks is nothing. I mean, it was just in a difficult moment, and he focused on what it really mattered.
I bet your heart was going though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A bit, because when I was in the taxi, we hit some traffic. And I started looking at the time, and it was getting closer and closer. But the taxi guy did a really good job to get me through. So yeah, but it was a little nervous at one point, but you know, things worked out.
Yeah, for me the NBA celebrity game was like something, it came from nothing and it surprised me as a baby. I was really happy when they told me about these things. And you know, I played basketball for 13 years. Still, I played more basketball than track and field, and it's been for all my life my biggest dream ever to go there and play basketball. And when I went inside that stadium, it's been like, you know, dreams come true. My legs were shaking. I was just a baby in a Luna Park, and I really enjoyed every single second there.
But you wouldn't have done it pre-Tokyo?
I wouldn't, no, of course not, because, you know, before Tokyo was just in my mind, everything was in the second. If I have to put like a rank of my priorities, every time was Tokyo in my first position. So I will never ever do something that would affect my performance in Tokyo. Yeah.
Any more questions?
And probably they will never call me before the
You're on speed dial for the return. Yes, Jess.
One quick point. It was asked at the Belgrade World Indoor Championships and it brought some quite interesting answers. So I just wondered, obviously you've got competitive rivalries at each of your events, but if you could go head to head with any other athlete in your event throughout history, is there a particular athlete that you'd really like to test yourself against, and why?
Well, I think for me, it's quite a few athletes I would like to run against, like Lu Zhang, Alan Johnson, what's the name of the British guy?
Colin Jackson.
Colin Jackson. Why am I? Yeah, I think those guys are pretty awesome, and it would be, you know, really, I think I could learn a few things from them. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm already running against some of the best women sprinters in all of history, so it's hard to say because it's so incredible, and I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to run against this type of competition. But I have to say Flojo, just because she's incredible, right? I mean, anyone would love to just line up against her and just see where you measure up. And you know, like you're saying, always something to learn, and I'd be pretty starstruck. But I'm pretty starstruck these days with almost everyone I run against. So.
Just before we come to Gianmarco, there was a BBC article that encapsulated all the recent discussion about the Flojo world record and the wind gauge and whether Elaine should really be the world record. Do you have a view on that as an American?
As an American, that's funny. Yeah, it's tricky, right, to rewrite record books. It's something that is a slippery slope, and you don't really want to get into that. But I'm sure that the way Elaine is running and the trend that women's sprinting is going, I'm sure that at some point in the near future here we can start to threaten and challenge that record.
Gianmarco, your dream competition?
Basketball court. I'm joking. If I have to pick a night jumper, I will choose Stefan Hall probably, because he's like such a great athlete and his technique was wonderful. So I always try to take something from my opponents about technical aspect and something like that. So I would love to compete with such a great athlete to improve myself.
We've overrun slightly for good reason. Thank you for your answers. Good luck to all three of you tomorrow. Thanks for your attendance. And